Now, he hasn't paid you in February or March. By law, I can imply that you ought to have, at that stage, exercised your legal right and said, would you mind leaving straight away and evict him? Why didn't you do that in March when he hadn't paid you?
Because at the end of the day, the basis of this contract wasn't for financial gain, or it was strictly to help a friend, and I feel like...
But if it wasn't that, if it wasn't to help a friend, you wouldn't be in court today suing him. So why not say to him, look, you've got a debt to me now of £700. It's 2 months' rent, which you've signed for. Go somewhere else. Why not exercise your legal right after 2 months?
Because every time I confronted Dan, you know, he would give me reasons for me to believe that, you know, that he was pulling his finger out and he was looking for work, and he kept promising.
That's March. Well, let's see what happens after March. Because the reality was, as I understand it, you found it rather hard to pin him down, correct?
Correct.
We've got April, yes?
Correct.
May. In April and May, what do you say Dan would do?
I believed he was going for job interviews. I seen him get dressed a few times, and he'd be out all day, so I wouldn't really see him.
Were you going for job interviews? Yes or no? Don't tell me porkies.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
You raised a little eyebrow there, a little flicker. I saw it. Why do you have doubt that that's the case?
I'm not sure, but I know he's a hard worker and he's good at what he does, so I believe if he wanted to find work, he would have found it quicker.
Now, here's the thing. That's 2 months, March. April, would you mind leaving? Did you do that?
No.
May?
No.
June?
No.
July? It's like a little Judge Rinder calendar here. It's a little expression for each month, only they get worse.
And so did the arguments.
I'm going to fast forward, sir. Here's the thing. It's not 1 month or 2 months that the rent becomes delinquent. This is why this case legally is complicated, but very interesting. You are here today suing your friend not for 1 month's rent, not for 2. How many months? When did you finally evict him and what did you do? It was October, wasn't it? Yeah. How many months is that? Do you know?
It was 10.
10 months? So what do you say he owes you?
It's £3,650.
£3,650?
Correct.
Now, sir, to what extent do you think that's reasonable? Why not assert your right before the end of that 10-month period? I mean, how long could you have allowed this to go on for? I mean, what if it stayed there for 2 years? Would you then go to court and say, he owes me £7,000?
That's my point. What you just said to me then, you know, I was getting false promises, and my friends and people were telling me what you just told me then, and it can only take so much, got to a certain extent, and then... But again, I was trying to support him and I wanted him to get...
How did you evict him? What did you do with his stuff?
His stuff was in my property. I didn't throw his stuff out, but I left him a note saying he needed to take his stuff.
Is it still there?
No, I think maybe a few bits and pieces, but he's got most of it.
You went to collect your stuff. What's your situation now, please?
I'm OK now. I've got somewhere to live.
What about work?
I'm working.
Excellent. Dan, you moved into Pete's house, and you did so in circumstances where the first month was free, but thereafter you decided to sign what I consider to be a perfectly valid legal agreement whereby it was going to cost you £350 per month, inclusive of bills. Whether that was legal or not is not in dispute, but I am concerned I don't have the rental agreement here. However, that's not an issue for me to determine. What I have to determine is whether or not he owes you the full value of 10 months' rent, which he didn't pay, the total being £3,650. Now, the difficulty I have without this in writing, I should tell you, let me put it in this way, if this was not in writing, your case would have been dismissed immediately. However, the fact that it is in writing means that you do owe him the rent. It's as simple as that. You understood what you were getting into, and at the time, it seems to me, you both were clear that you could have afforded it. You were not under significant financial duress, that £350 was unrealistic. However, both as a friend and a landlord, there comes a time where, as a matter of legal principle, you have to enforce your right. In other words, you cannot allow a debt to accrue over an unreasonable period of time. You are here today to claim for 10 months.
And that's because of...
Talking.
Sorry.
In my judgment, that is wholly unrealistic. And you had at your disposal a range of legal and other options, which weren't difficult, to evict him at any stage, including getting rid of his stuff. I determined that the reasonable period of time is not 10 months, but 6 months. And you are entitled, in my judgment, for all of the rent and expenses that he signed up for that period. So taking the £200 into consideration, this court doesn't award you £3,600, but does award you £1,900. It's an expensive lesson, but I'm afraid to say it's a legal one. That's the award of this court. Now, I'll tell you this, sir. That gentleman there, despite having brought you to court, does not say anything negative about you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
He was there for you in difficult circumstances, and this is worth remembering for the two of you. A friendship of this quality, whether the two of you communicate or not, is worth a good deal more than £1,900, which is the award of this court.
Pete was awarded £1,900 of his original claim.
If you enjoyed that video, then I strongly suggest clicking here for more highlights. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, and why not, so that you never miss out, subscribe. Clicking down there, that's an order.